Why children learn when they watch you. Part two is the greatest gift my Papaw gave me. And part two will be a Grace and Gavel, which is a true crime podcast. Why every team needs a leader. Part one is that's part one. Part two is why people remember conflict more than success. Children don't listen to what we say nearly as much as they watch what we do. Ultimately, I have my oldest son, he actually watches me create content. And he observes me creating content both for my podcast and for my social media. He sees my spouse build a career in the legal field, and he sees us keep going. He knows that certain things are not easy, which he has learned to be resilient. He has learned to keep going. He really enjoys basketball, and he practices on his own. He's always looking for opportunities to play basketball, which I think is amazing. And ultimately, I feel like kids can absorb persistence. If they see parents who are getting up and doing the hard things and doing what needs to be done, they can learn that persistence pays off, the tenacity pays off. And leadership is often caught, not taught. So my husband and I are both leaders in our perspective arenas. We're both only children. We both have actually been, leaders more than followers throughout our lives. We've done hard things. We've talked to our kids about doing hard things. And it makes it much easier to be able to tell your kids, hey, things can be hard, but anything worth doing is worth doing right and doing well. And so ultimately, the example we set clearly matters. If you feel like answering, you can respond below. What is something your children learned by watching you? If I had to say, I would say that we try to teach our children kindness. We try to teach our kids perseverance. We try to teach our kids faith. And we try to teach our kids to treat others how they would want others to treat them. And so now to part two. The greatest gift my Papaw gave me. My Papaw left me more than property. He left me a way of approaching life. For instance, he taught me that it was really important to be responsible. One of my most embarrassing stories with my grandfather was the time that one of my classmates had said hello to me, and I was kind of shy, not because I was embarrassed of him saying hi to me, but I just was being shy. And I remember my grandfather literally pulled me out from where I was, because I was hiding behind him. And he was like, he just said hi to you. Why would you not say hi back to him? And I was trying to explain that I was kind of shy and kind of embarrassed. And he was like, that's not an excuse. That's not what you do. If someone says something to you, you need to respond back to them. That's only polite. And he said that he was embarrassed that I had acted that way, and I have never forgotten it. Additionally, he was extremely loyal to me. He was always there for me, whether I was having a bad day, whether I was having a good day. When I would get a bad grade, he could always tell by the way that I walked home, and he would say, no, you'll get him next time. And I'm like, I don't want to get him next time. And he always showed up. He showed up for me. He showed up for my kids. He showed up for, he just was a person that showed up. You didn't have to wonder where you stood with him because he would tell you. He gave me a lot of guidance over the years. He gave me a lot of encouragement over the years. He refused to let me say the word can't. I can't do that. That was not in my vocabulary. And he loved people consistently, especially my kids and especially me. Was our relationship perfect? No, but we were always honest with each other. And there were times that I had been in pretty difficult situations, and I took some of my frustration and anger out on him. And ironically, he never mentioned it again. And he never seemed bothered by me being as hurt as I was, that I was yelling at him. The other thing is, he always got me on April Fool's Day, always. And so one year I got him and it was just great. And I knew that I'd had him. And I was just like, it was like the biggest achievement, you know. And then like the one time that I beat him in checkers, he said that he'd let me win, which he never let anybody win. He was very competitive. That's where I get my competitive spirit as well. And he also taught me about doing hard things, you know, like when he dropped me off at law school and I said, you know, what if I fail? And he said, girl, you've never failed anything yet. You're not about to start now. You are a sure thing. You are an investment that I'm making. And so ultimately, here I go. He passed away the end of May thereof. And tomorrow would have been my grandparents' wedding anniversary, but I lost both of them in the span of a year, which has been really difficult. And so ultimately, I'm continuing after loss, focusing on the memories that I have, the videos I have. My youngest asks about Papaw every single day, which is kind of like a knife to the heart in some ways, but it is what it is. And in some ways, I'm kind of happy that she still remembers him because she's so young. But what lesson did someone you love leave behind? Feel free to respond to that if you like. Okay, so now we're going to Grace and Gavel. Why every team needs a leader. Talent wins possessions. Leadership wins games. So point guards are the leader of the basketball team, right? They have to be calm, they have to be cool, they have to be good under pressure. If you aren't those things, it's very likely that you probably don't want to be a point guard. I know my son is a point guard, and he truly enjoys like the last minute shot. He truly enjoys that pressure without being overwhelmed. He's almost like a little coach at times, right? He's very good at communication. He is our oldest child, and he is able to see things from somebody who's much older. He does have poor vision, and he has pretty sound decision making as well as trying to lift up the other players and trying to encourage them to do the best that they can do. And so his idea is he wants to help his whole team succeed because that's how they win, and he knows that. Whether it's trying to make sure that everyone at least scores a basket or scores a couple of baskets, or is able to make a play, that's what he wants to do. And so ultimately, it shows leadership also beyond sports. As when you're a leader throughout life, not just one specific arena. And who is the best leader you ever played with? Feel free to comment below if you like. And then why people remember conflict more than success. Most people forget scores. They remember behavior. So a lot of us have something called emotional memory, where we have memories that stick with us because of the emotion that they invoked, right? And oftentimes conflict plays a big part in that, especially if it's family, especially if it's a best friend, especially if it's a false rumor or things like that. And then sports psychology, there's so much drive and so much emphasis placed on winning when it's not necessarily how you play the game. And so oftentimes a lot of people turn to dirty tactics just to try to win the game because they think that's what everybody wants, that's what everybody cares about. But ultimately your reputation is going to be with you on and off the court. And being the type of person that you can look at yourself in the mirror and be kind and show sportsmanship to other teammates or other teams is extremely important. And people often remember the teams that do not show sportsmanship, because their coach just wants them to win at all costs, which is not anything to treat a bunch of youngsters, right? As well as character under pressure, because ultimately you may have the idea that you could do something and the ref may not see it. But again, is that showing character or is that showing lack of character? And so people become memorable through kindness, through compassion, through playing by the rules, through being good sportsmen, right? That's how you earn your character. And that's what people will remember. If you were kind and polite, or if you were a nasty person who was trying to jab them and hit them and abuse them at all times. So what coach or team do you still remember years later? Feel free to comment below if you like. So I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. If you got value in this, please feel free to like and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully you'll come back and see me again soon. Check out Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress, which is a psychology channel for deeper dives. And the second one is Grace and Gavel, where truth meets compassion, as I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney. So feel free to check those out. Same username above, recovering_perfectionist_mama. So definitely check it out, and like and subscribe if you find some value. Have a great day. Bye-bye.